All right, a very good morning to you. It's good to see you on this Thursday morning. And of course, what a way to start the day with this beautiful sceneries just to show you how beautiful our country is. Welcome to the show. My name is Winnie Lubembe, and of course the show is Your World. And today on the conversation, we want to understand the role played by different training institutions. But of course, to be very specific today, we'll be focusing on the Kenya Medical Training College and of course their contribution towards universal health coverage. So you want to stick around until the end of the show to understand that, because I was doing my reading, all right, and so that KMTC has been in existence since 1927. That's a long time, all right? So of course, we'll see over the years what the institution has been able to do. But before that, we all know that universal health coverage means that all people have access to the full range of quality health services they need when and where they need them without financial hardship. It covers the full continuum of essential health services, from health promotion to prevention, treatment, rehabilitation, as well as palliative care. And inequalities continue to be a fundamental challenge for universal health coverage. So the big question is, what role do training institutions have in strengthening weekend health care systems? And this is across the country and even across the global space. All right, so that is the subject of our conversation today. We have Dr. Kelly Olwoch, who is the Chief Executive Officer, KMTC, that is the Kenya Medical Training College. So good to have you this morning. How are you doing?
Good to have you, Winnie.
Did you have to wake up like very, very early in the morning to make it here on time?
No, not exactly.
Okay.
But it's my tradition to wake early.
Really?
Yeah, yes.
At very, very wee hours of the day?
At 4:30.
4:30 in the morning? Yes. Okay, that's good. Start your day pretty early. So
Yes.
this is not so new. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. And of course, like we said, universal health coverage, and of course the government, the current government and even the previous government, was very keen in terms of talking about universal health coverage and how important this is. There are pilot projects, as well. But I just want to hear from you to just set the pace. When you look around, what is the state of our healthcare system in the country? Before we even talk about universal health coverage, where exactly would you say we are at?
Thank you, Winnie. Healthcare system in Kenya is devolved.
Okay.
With the central government retaining policy level decisions and the training of healthcare professionals, and the counties being able to provide healthcare services to the population. We could assess the level of the state of healthcare through what we call the pillars that constitute healthcare. And these pillars include issues like health financing, human resources for health, commodities and technologies, information systems throughout the healthcare system, health financing. And we are at various levels when you look at these pillars in terms of provision of healthcare. We are aware that counties are doing their best to ensure that healthcare provision at that level is taken care of. There is also need to make sure that there is a proper referral system so that there's a continuum of care from primary level to the level of referral facilities in the country. Now, the government is putting a lot of emphasis right now in primary health care and ensuring that people at the bottom of economic pyramid are able to receive quality, adequate health care at the cost that they're able to afford. And therefore the healthcare financing comes in key through National Hospital Insurance Fund. And we are then able to provide services through a coordinated effort that does not impoverish the people who are seeking healthcare. Government is now currently taking a lot of emphasis at community level to ensure that we have community health practitioners to attach them to all the households and coordinate this in a way that disease is detected early, preventive measures are taken early, sanitation is taken seriously to prevent escalation of costs of healthcare. So there are steps that we are still taking. As a country, we are still at the infancy stage of universal healthcare. But it's worth noting that there's a lot of effort that is being made right now to ensure that each Kenyan is able to receive quality healthcare that does not end up impoverishing them.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
I mean this is ideal, right? And it's even enshrined in our constitution, where every single person has the right to, the highest attainable healthcare, and of course this does not compromise on the quality as well, but making sure that it is affordable to everyone. But the reality on the ground is that a lot of people are not able to either get the services they need either on time, because again some healthcare facilities are not well equipped, or some instances there are no hospitals around, or if there are, the services are pretty much expensive, or there's not enough workforce. So there's still a lot of gaps that are there when it comes to healthcare right here in the country. So I'm just curious to understand the role that institutions play, and especially when it comes to human resource, which has been the biggest issue here in the country. We've seen numerous strikes, by medics from different parts or different counties. So I'm just curious to understand what role, training institutions play on this, because the government said, listen, we're going to employ thousands and thousands of healthcare practitioners, but still, we're still experiencing challenges when it comes to accessing healthcare.
Okay. Thank you so much, Winnie. Let me talk about Kenya Medical Training College. That is the training arm of the Ministry of Health. This is an institution that is 96 years old, having started in 1927. Yeah. Over the years, Kenya Medical Training College has lived up to its expectation and the expectation of the Kenyan population. The institution provides more than 85% of human resources for health that you see in our hospitals and at community level practice. We are able to provide practitioners both at primary level, at referral level facilities, and be able to take care of preventive, promotive, rehabilitative, and curative services across. I want to draw your attention to the figures. Okay. Right now, KMTC has a student population of over 58,000.
Oh wow, that's a lot. All the way from 4 when it started.
All the way from 4. Yeah. Thank you for keeping up with our history. Yeah. We started by having 4 students in 1927. Yeah. Now we have over 58,000 students. And the aim of the government is to make sure that we have qualified human resources for health that can take care of the health needs of the country, and the excess that we are able to produce, then we should be able to market and provide employment for them outside the country. So KMTC also provides very unique skill sets that then are able to augment the efforts of university in producing specialized human resources for health. For example, we have specialized nursing programs. We have specialized clinical medicine programs, pharmacy programs, physiotherapy programs that then are higher than the normal level of practice that is expected from a diploma holder. And therefore we make higher diploma and specialized short courses that enable our graduates to practice at a higher level of skills, and then be able to provide services that Kenyans expect at the highest level of attainable standards.
Yeah, yes. And of course my big question is then, why is this so important to KMTC? And I'm happy that you've also mentioned some of the courses that are offered, which again we'll go through them very in depth, because majority of the times for someone who maybe does not keep up, as far as just understanding, what your institution provides. When you think about KMTC, you think nurses, right? But that's not the only, course that is provided over there. But when you talk about offering the highest, level, and this is as far as the quality of education that is, provided, why is this at the heart and the core of KMTC, given, the competitive nature of the current workforce as well? Yeah.
Okay. Kenya, just like most countries, have always focused on curative services, and at the heart of curative services is nursing care. Yeah. And that provides that focus on nursing. However, KMTC is far much larger than nursing,
just nursing
as a course. KMTC has 7 faculties. We have 18 departments. And currently we have 94 courses that are being provided. And nursing is one of these many courses that are being provided at Kenya Medical Training College. We focus at preventive level by having courses like health promotion, public health. We focus on rehabilitative care. And in rehabilitative care, we have courses like physiotherapy. We have courses that are technologically driven. We have courses like medical engineering at Kenya Medical Training College. We have pharmaceutical science courses like pharmacy. Then we have clinical courses like clinical medicine. So we have a wide spectrum that students who are leaving high school are able to then make a lot of choices in terms of their interest and what they would want to later become, and be able to practice at various levels of provision of healthcare in the country. Yes.
And over the time, how much of an impact would you say this has, and especially when it comes to our healthcare system, because we still know medical tourism is still an issue. People still travel abroad to get some of the services. How much of an impact would you say having a diverse, course program for the different students, but at the same time offering the highest, standard when it comes to the courses offered? How much of an impact would you say this has?
A lot.
Okay.
Let me just reiterate the fact that 85% of human resources you see in any healthcare system in Kenya is graduates of Kenya Medical Training College. So the impact is quite a lot in terms of provision of the skills that are needed in and the numbers that are needed to take care of our healthcare system. You can imagine that last year we were able to graduate 15,915 graduates, and this year we are likely to graduate 24,000.
Oh wow!
That means that in terms of impact, the college is capable of taking care of the healthcare needs in terms of human resources for the country. And then we are now looking at beyond taking care of healthcare needs of the country, are we able to export? And then again we are looking at why do people look for healthcare outside the country? And that means that maybe there are skills that are not available in the country, or there are technologies that are not available in the country. And so what we are trying to do is to develop a mechanism of telemedicine to be able to be integral part of training in our system, so that we are able to link to those specialties that are not in the country, so that when our graduates leave the institution, they are familiar with the technology. They are able to make that consultation with that skilled person that we may not have here, and be able to receive treatment right here. And that will basically reduce the cost of medical tourism and seeking medical care outside the country, and the incidentals that come with that, so that we're able to focus on having that skill here, making sure that we leverage on technology. And talking about technology, KMTC is one of the most advanced technologically savvy institutions in the country when it comes to embracing technology in terms of teaching and learning. For example, we have an e-learning platform that enables us to be able to carry out teaching and learning, have a coordinated timetable, be able to teach a wide majority of students using a uniform model, and then be able then to also examine them through an online platform. So this enables us to have uniformity in training, enables us to calibrate the quality we want in the training. Another thing that technologically we are doing to advance and equal advanced countries is what we call simulated laboratories. In simulated laboratories, Winnie, what we are doing is we have models of human beings, not actual human beings, but models that are able to mimic the actual reactions of human beings. For example, faster breathing, dilatation of pupils, and then the students practice on these models before they translate their skills into the actual patient. It allows these students to hone their skills, to get feedback about challenges that they're still facing in honing their skills. And by the time they reach to the point of handling an actual patient, they have already internalized the skill. They have made it their second nature. And therefore this then increases the quality of healthcare delivery in terms of services that we're able to offer.
You don't learn on the job and you panic, don't know, because you did not get some of the things expected. I see that. And also just to mention that, again, the college has 72 campuses, which again have been strategically located in different parts of the country, which I think is really good, because then, like you're saying, more people are able to access that in terms of like education, but at the same time ensure that they can also, like during the training, right, also practice within their facilities that is closer home, which I think is a really, really good thing. But at the same time, most training institutions would have challenges, and one of the challenges is funding. But what we've seen, for KMTC is that the 2023-2024, budgetary allocation, of course, KMTC has been sort of like prioritized, right? So do you want to just take us through that and how this will help, the institution in terms of offering the best quality training available?
Thank you. We want to thank His Excellency the President, Dr. William Ruto. We want to thank our ministry led by our CS Nakumicha and also our PS Mary Mudhoni, because they have contributed to KMTC receiving a higher level of funding. Also,
the CS is actually an alumni, right?
Yes. Actually, did you know that in the current government we have 4 PSs who are alumni of Kenya Medical Training? Yes.
Look at
and
that.
one CS.
Yeah.
And we work very closely with the Parliamentary Committee, Departmental Committee on Health, to be able to express our resource requirements. And we made sure that it was clear to everyone why it is necessary to have skilled human resources for health. And it is not by accident that you have skilled human resources for health. There are investments, there are inputs that you need to ensure that you are able to produce the quality you require. Because we are mindful of the fact that we are not only producing for the Kenyan population, we are producing for export. And so what we are trying to do is to ensure that we have the equipment, the infrastructure, we have the critical human resources in terms of skilled lecturers that are able to impart that knowledge. We are supposed to be able to invest in technology so that we're able to then keep up with the current trends, current changes, and this cannot happen just by accident. It requires investment in the inputs, and therefore it also requires investment in the processes to ensure that the processes are able to give us the outcome we require. And it requires continuous monitoring of the whole spectrum or the value chain to ensure that eventually when a student appears at the graduation square to graduate, we can assure the public that this person really is capable of doing that which he purports to have studied. And so it requires a lot of financing for that to happen. And we want to say that this financing then places KMTC at a higher level of competitive advantage. And it gives KMTC the capability it has actually yearned for, to be able to provide and make this country one of those countries that other countries can learn from when it comes to human resources for health. Yes, so it's quite important for us to be able to then apply those resources carefully to ensure that we are able to achieve the result that the government is requiring from us, that the Wanjiku is requiring from us, that they will eventually be treated by competent human resources for health.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And of course, with that much, I would say prioritization comes accountability as well. Because, I mean, you all know Kenyans by now. It's like, hey, where's the money going? Who is using this for what and all those things. So again, brings out the whole point about accountability. But again, like you're saying, you're also putting in measures just to make sure that these funds are channeled to, the right places where they need to have. Has that changed over time in terms of like the allocations
Yes.
for the institute?
Yes, the institution has gradually received increased allocations, basically because of the expectations that are required out of this institution. The institution then also has had an increase in the number of learners that are seeking to acquire skills in the institution, and it requires input to make sure that these learners get the required skills. For example, we have grown by adding at least 13,000 students in less than 1.5 years to our population.
Okay. All right.
So you require then to put investments to ensure that quality is not diluted even as you add the number of students. You are supposed to have what is called a lecturer-student ratio that is healthy, that allows for students to acquire skills that they need then to use for practice. And therefore that informs the need for more resources to train. It takes a lot of resources to train even one health professional. So you have to be deliberate about it, be able to communicate the resource needs to various stakeholders to be able to then give us the kind of resources we require to continuously provide quality as per the Article 43 of the Constitution.
Of the Constitution.
Yes.
Yeah, again, and of course, again, like we said, highest quality of education as well as, healthcare, that the people would require. All right, so how about we take a break? But of course, when we come back, would also want to understand, more as far as, the higher diplomas, because again, like we talked about, there are different courses that are being offered from certificate level all the way to bachelor's level. No, or higher diploma, which can be equated to bachelor's, right?
Yes,
because like you said earlier on, it's all about focusing on the quality of education that is being provided. All right, but of course, all that is coming up after the break. Stay with us. The show is Your World. All right, welcome back. Glad to be with us. The show is Your World, and for today, we're talking about the contribution of training institutions, and this is towards achieving universal health coverage. And today, our focus is on the Kenya Medical Training College. And I mean, here's the thing: if you are an alumni of KMTC, all right, or if you're studying at KMTC, I mean, how about you go onto our social media pages and tell us your experience, your journey, and of course the impact that you've had from training at KMTC. I would really, really love to hear from you. We have your CEO today, Dr. Kelly Alwaj, who is also an alumni of KMTC, which is just really, really cool. And what I really like about that is the fact that, again, we were discussing this during the break, and we said it's not just about studying and then once you're done, you go out, to different healthcare facilities and then that's it, you're done. It's the fact that there's also leadership opportunities, for the students, which is really cool. But I'm also curious to understand then versus now, right? Then you were a student, but now you are the CEO of the institution. So how do you see things, like from your position now and comparing that to when you were a student? Have there been changes in terms of the culture of the school and just everything else under your leadership? Maybe some of the things that you decided to change based on your experience.
Okay, thank you. There are a lot of changes that come with it.
Yeah.
I've experienced KMTC from all the angles.
Yeah.
From the angle of being a part-time lecturer, being a lecturer, being a deputy head of department, being a head of department, being a principal, deputy principal, being a principal, and then being a deputy CEO and then a CEO. I've also been a student at KMTC at one point doing higher diploma in what is called medical education. It's the pedagogy of teaching in medical field. And the experiences from the lens of a lecturer is very different from experiences from the lens of a student.
Of a student, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
and it's also very different from when you are now the head. What then this gives me is that opportunity to be able to think of myself like, when I was a student,
Okay.
what would I have? What was I expecting from the lecturers, from the institution, and then when I was a lecturer, what was I expecting from the administration in terms of skill development, payment, and all those things?
Yeah.
And now that I'm the CEO, what is it that I'm expecting from everyone who is following, and what is it that I'm expecting from my supervisors, and even what is it that I'm expecting in terms of resources for the institution to grow, and what is it that the culture is, are we really developing in the institution? Basically, that growth gives you the perspective that we do not have time to waste.
True.
There's quite so much that needs to be done to transform the institution, and we rely so much on technology, and so we have then therefore needed to craft a strategic plan that then transforms the institution in terms of efficiency, effectiveness, and competitiveness. And so we are in the process of launching a new strategic plan that focuses on quality of training. And the shift in focus, therefore, is that when I was training as a student and when I was a lecturer, there was little focus on the global arena, the global stage. But now the institution is now big and is capable of providing local human resources for health and tech access for export. So then it now requires you to think globally rather than thinking locally at the needs of the country alone. And therefore that puts at the center of everything quality systems. What do we need to ensure that when we are called upon to provide human resources for UK, for example, that the feedback we are getting from UK does not shortchange those who are still in the process of being trained from getting the same opportunities. That means that we must inculcate quality into the DNA of how we do every activity, the value chain, to make sure that the product matches the expectation of the marketplace. There's also been a change in terms of technology. When I was learning, technology was different from what it is right now. And the need to embrace technology to infuse efficiency, to infuse effectiveness, to develop a worldwide thinking concept is and also systemic thinking is something that is very key now than it was before. That now technology is at the center of, and it's an enabler of us achieving our goals. And so in our new strategic plan, we have digital transformation as one of those things that we must embrace to ensure that the next phase of KMTC really matches the world expectations of the institution. We then also need to ensure that we continuously improve on our own reliability to make sure we generate resources to sustain the institution. And so one of the focus areas in our next strategic plan is institutional sustainability in terms of producing lecturers that are skilled enough to provide the kind of education we want for these young men and women, to be able to have financial strength and capability that can then carry this institution into the next stage of competitive advantage. And so we do not want to take for granted our current position and our learnings that we have had accumulated over a period of time. We need to be able to transform this organization so that those people who will come after us will then find an institution that is a world-recognized institution that is capable and is being looked upon by the world and not only the country to provide the quality that we require for human resources for health, to ensure that universal health coverage is taken care of, the bottom-up economic transformation agenda of the government is taken care of, the SDGs are taken care of, and the Vision 2030.
Absolutely. I mean, we do not want an instance where one of our students probably goes, abroad, because again, like you said, the focus is not just local, but also for export. But then when they get there, they're told, your quality of education does not match ours. We do not want that instance. All right. And of course, like you said, you took your higher diploma at KMTC, right? Which again can be equated to bachelor's as well. So do you want to tell us more about the same?
Yes. KMTC collaborates with other government institutions for various purposes.
Okay.
At one point in time, then there was need for us to then enable translation of the skills and the qualifications at KMTC to enable our students acquire international jobs, to enable our students then be able to advance in terms of learning if they wanted to get higher degrees.
All right.
Then there would be no this question of every person coming to us to see if the student can then be admitted for a higher degree. And so what we then did was to collaborate with the Kenya National Qualifications Authority to ensure that the diplomas we offer are meeting not only the local expectations of a practitioner at that level, but the world expectations of the same, so that if there was an inquiry as to whether that applicant would qualify for a higher degree in terms of admission to another university or a higher learning institution, then there would be a database. There would be a way of making this person to advance. And so we then made it necessary to collaborate with Kenya National Qualifications Authority to determine the number of hours, to determine that the student has taken in class, the level of practice, the competency of practice, the level of experience, and then what then was necessary to make decisions as to when somebody would come for higher national diplomas, the time, then man hours they would spend in class, the content they would take, the practical level of skills they would develop, and then eventually at the time they are graduating, at what level would they be. And so KNQA, we worked with them for a long period of time to determine all that. And we noticed, and the KNQA, after having a scientific process of ensuring that there was a proper way of equating, then ensured that our higher national diploma was equated at level 7. That is the normal degrees in the market.
Okay.
And apart from higher level degrees like pharmacy and medicine, which are at level 8, the normal higher national diploma can be equated to a degree at level 7. That is also the normal qualifications or equation for degree programs in the country. And that then enables our students then to acquire and be admitted at higher education institutions into, let's say, a master's program, be able to do a PhD program. And what we also wanted to ensure is that there's continuity in terms of progression, in terms of learning, so that our students do not stop at higher diploma and then they are told, no, you go back to first year to do degree. They would start at a level that then enables them to acquire higher degrees without challenges. And that also gives impetus, gives encouragement, and enables our students to have a future of hope that no matter where they start, they could end up where they want to be. What matters is their level of thinking, what they want to achieve, and if they stick to that, then they would achieve whatever level of education they would wanted without hindrances of how they started and where they started.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And this also reduces time, because again, like we all the medics, you have to be in school for I don't know how many years, right? Depending again if you want to specialize in all those things. Okay. And again, aside from just like we said, education, or being as a training institute, there's also the corporate social responsibility responsibility that KMTC is also, initiatives rather, which again is very important to KMTC, right? So can we just talk about the medical camp that should be happening from tomorrow, 23rd July? Yes, from tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're having a medical camp tomorrow, and the theme of the medical camp is Step Up, Speak Out, and Stay Healthy.
Okay.
And we are focusing on disabilities.
Oh, okay. It's important, yeah.
We have a culture in Kenya where disability is frowned upon, and children born with a disability are hidden from the public view. People who have suffered catastrophes like accidents, who have lost a limb, are marginalized, and then they become disillusioned, and they look at themselves as second-rate citizens. But healthcare is supposed to give them hope, give them purpose, and then be able to make them feel like integral part of the society. Okay. And so KMTC realizes this gap in the society, and therefore we decided to have a medical camp tomorrow that will start by a walk in the morning. I earlier during break invited you for the walk, and then we will have a medical camp, and we will also be donating prosthetics, that is artificial limbs, to those who have lost limbs, so that they are able to carry out their activities just like any other person in the society.
Okay.
The major reason for this is that KMTC wants to be a responsible citizen, that we do not only take up resources from the community, but we also give back to the society. We make the society an equitable place that then everybody feels accepted to be part of that society. In addition to that, KMTC also does tree planting exercises across the country.
Climate change is a huge thing now.
Yes. So we have a target of each staff being able to plant 10 trees this year, translating to around 65,000 trees. So we have we work closely with Kenya Forestry, we work closely with the banks to ensure that we have sufficient seedlings that we then will plant in our campuses and our forests to sustain living, to make sure that the generations coming after us do not find a ruined planet, that we then become stewards of the resources that we already have and sustain them for the future generations. So we want to welcome the public to this walk. We want to welcome those who seek services that we will be offering tomorrow, including those who need prosthetic limbs, that they become part of our activity tomorrow. So we wish to also say that we have courses in KMTC that are focused on rehabilitative care. So we want to, like courses like physiotherapy. We have technological driven courses that enable us then to offer skills that then correct challenges that come with disabilities. We also have courses like speech therapy that we are introducing for the first time in the country. Speech and language therapy. Because initially this has only been a mainstay of Ministry of Education. But you see, loss of speech could be pathological. And so there's need then to develop graduates who are then able to correct challenges of speech. So we collaborate with other universities to ensure that we infuse and transfer that skill and we're able to have it locally, so that we're able to support our communities and people who struggle with speech. Yes.
I see that. So the walk will happen from, like you said, 8 a.m. and it will be held at the KMTC
Yes,
headquarters?
It starts from KMTC, Nairobi campus.
So will this happen across the country?
This one will take place tomorrow in KMTC, our main campus in KMTC Nairobi. And we want to thank our partners like KNH for joining us in this. We want to say that this walk will take place from 8 a.m. in the morning. And thereafter we will have the whole day attending to those who need medical care at our campus in Nairobi.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, and of course it's also important to mention that, again, like you said, KMTC will be donating prosthetics, but even aside from that, like other services like dental, ear,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, which I think is important, really, for the
including
people.
screening. Screening for hypertension, to check blood sugar levels, to check weight, and then also give health promotional talks to ensure that you prevent disease. It is less costlier to live healthy than to treat a disease. So we would want to ensure that at the very best, people who are healthy stay healthy, and those who are sick are helped.
That is
and
able
that is
to.
what we want to know.
All right. So someone is asking here, this is Courier Simon on Twitter, says, kindly we inquire the exact date from the CEO on when the KMTC portal will be opened for the September intake, please.
Okay, thank you. We have been getting feedback from social media, from various applicants concerning their concerns about application at Kenya Medical Training College. We then therefore currently are doing development of our system, revamping it, making it more elaborate. And then we also have a policy shift that we are currently undertaking. And within 2 weeks, we will open for people to apply and join, apply in the system and then join KMTC by September this year. We are working with other stakeholders to make this possible, and we are adjusting our policies to ensure we are more efficient and are responsive to the concerns that have been raised from time to time about opportunities at Kenya Medical Training College.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, and of course, I can see our time is far much spent, but again, would also need to understand. So, fine. Since 1927, 2023, a lot has been done along the way. The institution has grown, like we said, from only 4 students when the institution started up to until what, over 50,000? Thereabouts?
58,200.
58,000 students. So would want to know, so over the next 5 years, you talked about the strategic plan, and this is as far as the institution and growing it and making sure that, again, like we said, quality of education and training offered is not compromised. So yeah, in the next 5 years, what is it that we as the public should expect to see from KMTC? And do you have like strategic, from the strategic plan rather, some of the key priority areas that you want to focus on?
There are 4 things that we want to focus on.
4 things.
And the ones that we will want the public to measure us against in the next 5 years.
Okay.
The first issue is the quality of training. We want to continuously improve the quality of training.
Okay.
We are aware and we have expectations that we should be able to produce for the international market and also the local market.
All right.
So in terms of quality of training, we are looking at infusing additional technology in terms of being able to improve skills of our learners. We are looking at introducing international languages at our various campuses. Okay. We are looking at introducing what is called Arabic, German, French. We are looking at basically also including English and also being able to collaborate with international examining bodies like IELTS, British Council. We are also looking at what we call NCLEX. That is for nursing entry exams for US and Canada and also Australia.
Okay.
Because these are major markets that we want to focus on. We want to focus on German. And so in terms of quality of training, quality is fitness for purpose. And therefore, the trainees should be able to speak the language of the patient.
Sure.
And so we will introduce these languages during the course of training so that by the time we graduate these students, they are capable of working in whichever part of this world they want to choose to work in. We are even introducing Mandarin. So if you are interested in Mandarin, then
yeah,
it's the place to be.
Yeah.
So the other issue that we are focusing is on digital transformation.
All right.
This is supposed to bring efficiency and effectiveness in our services, introduce more transparency in terms of accountability of resources that we receive, and also be able to ensure that we improve productivity of employees at Kenya Medical Training College. We are also looking at research consultancy services. So we want to measure on health research and be able to make the institution be able to participate in international conferences, be able to generate papers that then enable us to improve on the quality of curricula that we offer, the kind of services that we offer, and then be able to make our students and the staff lifelong learners. We are looking at the issue of sustainability of the institution. So we are looking at financial sustainability, being able to grow our skills of our staff to be able to match international expectations. We are looking at resource sustainability in terms of collaborations, partnerships, and then we are able to ensure that the institution is able to take care of its resource needs as it grows bigger. We are looking at 5 years from now having over 70,000 students at Kenya Medical Training College, because we wish to contribute to this economy in terms of foreign exchange earnings through export of labor. We also want to contribute to this country in terms of providing the highest level of skills that are needed by our health system to be able to provide the services that Mwananchi requires.
Really needs, and of course curb the whole question about human resource, you know, in issues surrounding the same, because again, like we said, people need healthcare services, and of course at the highest, you know, attainable services that is also affordable as well. Okay, so as we finish, I'll give you like 30 seconds to speak to the people who are watching us this morning, you know, as far as understanding KMTC, what is being offered, and of course the value as well that you have across the country, and especially when it comes to contributing towards universal health coverage. 30 seconds, I hope that's enough.
The vision of KMTC is a model institution in training health professionals, and our vision is to produce competent health professionals through training, research, and consultancy services, and we espouse certain values that include teamwork, inclusivity, equity, and we want to say that we will open our portals within the next 2 weeks, to ensure that the public are then able to apply and get opportunities at KMTC. We want to say that KMTC is an equal opportunity institution, and we also focus on ensuring that every Kenyan, no matter where they come from, has an opportunity to learn at Kenya Medical Training College. We will focus on the quality of training. We will focus on digital transformation. We will focus on institutional sustainability of the institution. We want to also welcome the public and invite them for our medical camp that will take place at our Nairobi campus, and also the work that we will have in the morning. We will be offering rehabilitative services and donating prosthetics to those who need limbs, and we will also be doing various services that enable Kenyans to live healthy. And we want to welcome every applicant to join and be part of this process.
Absolutely.
Thank you for inviting
us
to this program, and also enabling us to discuss about Kenya Medical Training College.
Absolutely. Most welcome. And of course, a quick reminder that the work starts from 8:30 a.m. and of course, if you are in Nairobi, from the KMTC headquarters. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Dr. Kelly Olmoch, who's the CEO KMTC. It's very common that we call people Daktari. But Dr. Kelly Olmoch, again, CEO KMTC. Thank you so much for, again, giving us all the tidbits as well. And of course, for you who is watching us from home, we say thank you for staying with us until the end of the conversation. Now you know better, all right? So have yourselves a lovely day ahead. And I'll see you tomorrow mornings. Not tomorrow morning, on Monday, but tomorrow there is the Radio Meets TV, where it's all about the morning fix. So enjoy that, enjoy your weekend, and see you on Monday. Goodbye.